Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Katie and I love to travel. Since Halloween's coming up, I thought it would be fun to talk about one of my favorite travel activities, which is taking a ghost tour. I like taking ghost tours because they can be a fun way to learn some history, get your bearings on the city, and have some ghost tales, some spooky stories thrown in there if you're into that sort of thing. Most ghost tours last anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours long and are typically walking tours. Now, if you have mobility or accessibility issues, then you'll want to look for a tour that is a bus tour or a car tour. Keeping in mind, most of those car tours are converted hearses. So if you're interested in that, by all means, but I choose the walking tour most often. Now, I like to take a ghost tour the first night that I land in a city because oftentimes I've been traveling all day and been sitting for most of that, not really moving. So taking a walking ghost tour allows me to get my steps in, move my body, and it also wears me out so I can have a better night's sleep because typically you're not really sleeping that well the first night in any new location. So wearing yourself out can help you have a better night's sleep. Now, I've gone on many different ghost tours in many different cities over the years, from Washington, D.C., Chicago, Savannah, San Antonio, New Orleans, even a couple here in Nashville. And I've gone on some good ghost tours and some mediocre ones. However, when choosing a ghost tour, I do like to read the reviews online because that will give you a good indication of what that tour is about. Some ghost tours can be very large, like 40 people on the tour, and some are smaller, more intimate. I like to choose the smaller, more intimate setting because those are usually better stories and just an overall fun time. You get to know the people on your tour and can just have a really good time. When you're on those larger tours, it can be hard to hear and other people can be chatting and you really kind of just lose the fun and the intimacy of the tour with the more people that are on the tour. In addition to reading the reviews, I also like to see the starting point of the tour. I like to choose a tour company that is closer to where I'm staying in that city. Since ghost tours can be an hour and a half to 2 hours long of walking, finding one that is close to where you're staying can help when you're exhausted at the end of that tour, that you're not having to walk even further after the tour back to your hotel or your Airbnb. Ghost tours are in the evening, so if you're on a solo trip or you're by yourself, if your friends from your group didn't want to go on the ghost tour with you, you don't want to be walking back to your housing or lodging accommodation by yourself in the middle of the night in a new city. Just kind of safety, it's better to find a ghost tour that's a little bit closer to where you're staying. Now, I've experienced a lot of interesting things on the ghost tours that I've been on. Ironically, they have very little to do with actual ghosts. For example, the ghost tour that I did in Washington, D.C. was located right in front of the White House. So we toured the park, or that little square right in front of the White House, and when we got to the end of the tour, we were standing right in front of the White House. A couple feet away was a couple, I don't believe they were on the tour, but they were having a very intense argument, fight, and it kind of started to get physical almost. It was so intense that the Secret Service from the White House got down from their post and came over to ask if the girl was all right. So that was kind of scary to end the ghost tour on kind of a physical altercation between a couple. But that doesn't compare to the ghost tour that I went on in New Orleans, where we almost became another ghost story on that tour. So about halfway through the ghost tour in New Orleans, we stopped at a bar. There was some stories associated with that bar, but it was also a rest stop. So while some of the members of the tour were resting, there was a guy that had been very obnoxious the entire tour. I don't know if he had been drinking or if he was high on something, but he was loud, disruptive, just not enjoyable for everyone else on the tour to experience him there. So while we were at this bar, he saw a couple playing pool and wanted to join their game. They didn't want him to join their game of pool, so they kind of got into an argument, at which point this intoxicated, obnoxious guy pulled out a knife and started threatening them. Now, it ended up fine. He was kicked off our tour and nothing ended up there, but that was kind of scary that he pulled a weapon out in front of all of us on the tour, so that was a little strange. but I haven't experienced actually any paranormal activity yet. It would be kind of cool to experience it. Typically on ghost tours, they'll have you take pictures of windows in buildings or in rooms, and that's where you'll see little orbs or shadowy figures show up, is on the pictures, and not necessarily with the naked eye. But nonetheless, I find ghost tours really fun and just another way to experience a new city. So I hope this video interested you or intrigued you to take a ghost tour on your next trip. If you've taken a ghost tour in the past, leave a comment down in the comment section on things that you've experienced on your ghost tour, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao for now.